You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. It's funny, I was just playing a song, and then Ryan goes, "Who's that?" I go, "It's DeBarge."
Like I was going to know.
And he was like, "I don't know." I goes, "You know them?" You're like, "No."
I don't. Rarely do I get them right.
It's all right. It's an 80s thing, man. I'm lost in the 80s. I'm lost in emotion. Do you get that reference too? Lost in emotion. Anyway, that's Lisa and the Cold Jam off the coast. Hopefully you're enjoying your week, your weekday, your weekend, and you're feeling good and you're doing stuff for yourself, man. I've been going through the surgery. It's like a week and a half now, and starting to feel a little bit better. Thank you for all the wishing wells, kiss and tells. It's another song from the 80s, or maybe it's the 90s. Anyway, we've got a great podcast today. Just letting you know, we're going to get right to it. But please subscribe if you're listening today for the Leslie Jordan. And you like the podcast, I'd love for you to subscribe and listen to other episodes. You might just learn something. You might like it. So tell them where they could do that.
At Inside of You Pod on Twitter, at Inside of You Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, youtube.com/Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum if you want to watch it.
Yes, absolutely. You can watch it on YouTube or listen all those places Ryan just said. And make sure if you'd like to, the podcast, if you like it, you want to join Patreon to support the podcast a little more, just go to patreon.com/Inside of You. Patreon. Patreon. It's like a big family, and it's become a lot of friendships have what's the word?
Spawned.
I was going to say spawned. I really was going to say spawned, which is an odd word, but I was going to say spawned. It's
It
kind
is
of
a weird word.
It is with spawned. So go to Patreon, and there's so many great things about that. You get ask me questions on a segment. You get to ask the guest questions. You get packages every few months with a signed autograph by me and a little note from me. But hey, it's been a great week. I hope you guys are rocking, and let's get into this episode. This is a guy who, you know him from Will and Grace. He's also got millions and millions of followers. His following has just exploded, hasn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, all of a sudden, he found a place on Instagram.
Oh, dude, he's got more followers than anybody I know. I mean, really. I mean, people just love watching his TikToks and his Instagram. I hope I'm not vivacious when I'm, in my 60s. I don't think I am now. But he really tells it all. He does. He's got a book out. He's pretty magnificent. He's just a little ball of fun, and very likable, a likable guy. And I think you're going to really enjoy this. And he talks about everything. So why don't we just get into it? Let's get inside of Leslie Jordan. It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience. You like recording in your bedroom, I noticed, Leslie.
This is where the action happens. That band ain't say no action between.
That's not true. You have a love life, don't you?
I do. I don't talk about it. It's a long, long 5-year affair that's insane and crazy, and I'm not allowed to talk about it because you would faint. I could whisper it to you, but...
So you've had a hot, flaming, loving relationship for 5 years that's been pretty intense that you can't talk about.
It's like a Vanity Fair article waiting to happen. But anyway.
Does the other person, he won't let you say anything? He doesn't want it out there?
He's just very, you would know with his job and everything. He's got a very, very high pressure job and stuff. And it's more about that.
All right.
Well, we really can't go there.
Well, I'm glad that you're fulfilled. You seem like you're, you're fulfilled, I guess.
I'm fulfilled, very fulfilled. Everything, I lay in bed at night and I want to make a list. I'm perfectly happy with who I am, what I am. I have no worries. None. My family, the phone will ring, and my identical twin sisters will say, "Mother's got to go in the hospital and they're gonna shock her heart." I said, "What?" Well, it's not even a really bad procedure. I just talked to her, and they go in and just shock it to get it back on rhythm, and it's not that big a deal. And I got her to laugh. I said, "Well, you've shocked me for years." And blah, blah, blah. And so, 87-year-old mother in good health, family in good health, a couple of dollars in the bank. It's just, what can you ask for?
Well, it's funny because we have a segment we just started called, it's like your book's called How Y'all Doing, but we have a segment called How you doing? How you doing? And it's a mental health check-in. And so you kind of answer that. You feel like mentally you feel pretty damn good.
I do. And I have not always been that way. I've had drug problems. I've had, I look back on my drug years and alcohol years, started at 14. It was I remember the first thought when I got high, how easy it was to be gay. How first of all, I had never used drugs and I'd always been kind of awkward and it was that I had this secret, but it wasn't the kind of thing that I needed to worry about. I don't think people would have cared even back then. When I ended up telling people in high school, I said, listen, I've got a deep secret. I'm gay. And they're like, yeah. And the secret is you're like a gay murderer.
Is there more to this secret?
Yeah. And so, but anyway, when I finally, came to terms with that, it was like, I knew, I just didn't have any problems with it. It's weird. I fell out of the womb. I landed in my mother's high heels. And so I've always been, comfortable with myself. And that was this other little thing. So anyway.
How old are you? How old are you, Leslie?
66.
And you're so vibrant. I see you dancing your ass off on the Instagram. And by the way, 66 isn't old. You're not old. But 66 is still, for someone to be dancing around and having as much fun as you are, I think people, it's pretty obvious. I think they're envious. They're like, they want your life, especially at your age. People say, God, how could this guy be so happy?
Well, here's my mantra. Happiness is a choice. Happiness is a habit. And happiness is something you have to work for. And I work really hard. I know that I have problems with sugar, so I eat right. I know that I have problems. I eat right. I exercise. It's either the mirror. I was gifted with this wonderful thing called the mirror, which is a huge life-size mirror. They put me through my paces, and I fuss at them. They can't hear me. He says, do one more. I say, fuck you. No.
I know what you're talking about. Like, I have one that's an echelon where they sit there and they talk to you and they go, all right, 5 more reps. And you can sit there and say what you want because obviously they can't hear you.
What you want. But I either do my mirror or swim. I love to swim. I just did 10 laps. I do something. I eat right. I sleep. I decided when I was 60 years old that at 6 o'clock, the curtain goes down. And all my friends go, what do you mean? I go, exactly what I said. And I mean it. And they go, no. We're going to go have dinner. No, I'll have lunch. 6 o'clock, the curtain goes down. I'm getting ready. By 9 o'clock, everything's unplugged. 10 o'clock down. I sleep and I can sleep 10 hours.
Wow. I mean, you can really turn it off.
I have to.
You turn off.
You have to work at it. It's not going to happen.
You turn your shit off. You turn all your electronics off. Like they're done an hour before you go to bed or something.
Yeah, I have to.
Because you could be addicted to that.
I turn the TV off. I turn anything off. I wander. And then I get ready to get into bed. And I've usually got a book I'm reading. And you know what else? I'm very, very lucky in that I do not know the feeling of loneliness. I'm not lonely ever.
Really?
I felt it some when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, especially, I talk to friends and I just get so lonesome. I want somebody. I don't. I got somebody.
Well, that's the difference. You got somebody. That's why they're lonely. They don't have anybody. If they're lonely and you're like, well, I'm not lonely because I have someone.
Well, he adores me and I adore him, but we're in separate cities. So
right. You said happiness is a habit. So are you saying you create? What is that? What does that mean?
It means that you make a habit of it. In other words, if you wake up every morning and say, shit, what is it? If you create good habits, if you get up in the morning and say, okay, how can I make this a great day? What, I've got this to do. I got this to do. I don't want to do this, but I got to do it. Well, you got to do it, and you make a habit of not, not going there. And you make a habit of getting up and smiling and saying hello to people and just all that bullshit.
Right.
Little Mary Sunshine. Just little Mary Sunshine. But I try to make a habit of being happy. That's what I want to be. Just like you want to have a habit of
Yeah. No, I think it's important.
And then it'll just kind of happen. That's where you'll go.
You're grateful. You go to bed, you say your gratitude,
Yeah,
you're grateful for the thing.
Grateful's another word. That's what they teach us in recovery. I'm 22 months, off the sauce. And
Wow.
that's part of it. Alcohol, no alcohol and no drugs and no cigarette is a big part of it.
That's hard to get off that stuff. Isn't that hard? Was it very difficult for you to get off that?
12 days in the men's central jail. That's all it took.
In the men's central jail. What happened at the jail that you decided I can't do this anymore?
I was sitting there and the judge had said, I'm going to give you, if you mess up, I'm going to give you 120 days. And I messed up. And I showed up back in there and I got 120 days in the men's central jail. And I was, people think that it's, I don't know. I had a gay friend who said, was it erotic? No, erotic. Did you see people showering like mean prisoners? I go, no, I saw ugly, fat people, nasty, ugly, horrid people. And it wasn't funny. And it's like the playground and they were mean to me. But it's what happened after I got out of jail that made the big difference. I did my time. And when I got out, I got my first job and it was on Caroline in the City.
I remember the show.
And I had never worked completely sober. I mean, not that I was ever really loaded at work, but I was either coming off of some weekend bender or looking forward. Anyway, I went to my sponsor at the time and I said, listen, I don't know how to work. I don't know what to do. He said, okay, I'm going to tell you something. You show up to be of loving service. I said, oh, that's a bunch of pablum. That's bullshit. What am I, a hippie? I'm going to show up of loving service. What, am I going to show up with flowers? He said, no. Now listen to me. I want you to show up and be of service to your director. This means that you have your lines learned. This means that it's his project. It's his story. He is the director. You as the actor are allowed to bring things, on board, but you are of service to a director. You're of service to producers. Therefore, you are on time. You don't make waves. You show up. You're a worker among workers. Ugh. They said you're of service to your fellow actors, which means you don't steal the show. He gave me this whole list. So I show up, and the first day I got there, this little tiny script supervisor, I wish I could remember her name. She whispered in my ear, she said, a little bird told me you're getting sober. She said, I have 35 years. If you need any advice or anything, you come my way, sit by me. I thought, wow. I said, well, I'm supposed to be of service. She goes, yeah, I know. So I was of service for Caroline in the City, and I'm telling you, it changed the way I work today. I don't think about it today, but people use me over and over because I don't make waves. I show up. I have my lines learned. I'm an actor among actors. I do my job, and directors know that they can
rely on you. They can rely on you.
That was probably the biggest gift getting sober gave me, because you don't think like that when you're so when you're not sober.
Were you more ornery, or did you ever get angry when you were drinking? Because you look like someone who doesn't get angry at all.
No, I do, and I'll tell you why. It's all chemical. Sugar, the blood sugar, and the alcohol gets your blood sugar going, and I am the life of the party. And my friend can do. He said, you will turn on a dime. He said, you'll turn on me like a mother-in-law. I said, what do you mean? He said, we'll be just talking, and all of a sudden you'll go, hey, listen, it's not always about you. And every time when we are drinking, my friend will say, let's say we go through this every time. We promise her. I go, no, I don't want to fight. I just want you to know that it's not always about you. and I would fight. And then I drank in a bar down on Santa Monica Boulevard, rough old bar, because I liked rough old boys back then. The kind you pay to go home with. It was rough. And they used to say, you can always tell when Leslie's working. There's not a boy on the boulevard that doesn't have on brand new tennis shoes.
Why did you?
These old boys, this boy, and the guy Benji that was the bartender, because I would hit him. I had a temper, slap him right across.
Wait a minute. So you like these tough, big guys, and you'd come at them, and a lot of times they didn't want anything to do with you, and you'd still come at them?
Well, what would happen? We were talking, about something, and then it would just turn. I don't know. And I'd smack them like a girl would smack, And Benji would grab me before the guy could get to me and lock me in the where they kept the beer in the back. I got a timeout. I had to sit back there.
You just looked for trouble. You were looking for trouble.
I was looking for trouble. And Benji said I'd knock on the door and open it about this far. I said, Benji, he'd go, get in there. No, can't come out yet. And he said, I love you.
Did you ever pay Benji a visit after you got sober, just to say, "Hey, I got some"?
No, but I see him. He doesn't work there anymore. It's not even there. Hunter's is right next to the avocado hamburger place that's so famous. It's Sweetser, I think, on Santa Monica Boulevard. There's Fat Burger. That was the corner right there. That was the corner right there. There was Hunter's and all those old rough bars. We're talking the 80s. We're talking
right.
82. We're talking a long, long time ago. And that's when the boys worked the boulevard. See, they would work the boulevard. They had crack habits, $40, so they had to turn a trick to get their crack. And so they were very busy. It's a busy time.
Let me ask you, do you think people, obviously they look at you and they're like, oh my God, this guy's hysterical. He's so funny. We got to hire him. You get hired to do all these funny roles. Is there a part of you that wants to do more drama? Do you think you could handle something really dark and something where you just are completely the opposite of who people think you are?
I do. I had a professor in college who was really rough on me. He told me later on, I couldn't understand why he was so rough on me. He wasn't rough on everybody else. And I couldn't do anything right, And he finally pulled me aside after the 4 years, and he said, do you know that you're capable of genuine artistry? I said, no, I do not know that that's where you are. You're that good of an actor, but you are so lazy. I have never seen an actor as lazy as you. And no matter how hard I've tried, you're going to end up on some sitcom and you're going to do really well, but no one will ever know.
Wow.
And I thought, wow. When I was hired to do the American Horror Story, the first season, I didn't know Jessica Lange. I didn't know anything. I showed up on set down in New Orleans, and I had flown. I wasn't even in LA. I was on another job, so I just kind of flew in real fast. And I turned around and they said, Leslie, have you met Jessica? And I said, Jessica? I laughed in her face. I said, oh my God, Jessica Lange. No way. No way. Jessica Lange. What? I said, I said, you play that part. You're the main one. She goes, yeah.
Oh my God.
I said, was Sarah Paulson show them? I said, yeah. Sarah Paulson. I said, it's like in kindergarten where there's two apples and an orange.
Were you just excited?
Well, I remember thinking what my professor told me, and I thought, I know how to work. I can do this. And I buckled down, and I pulled it out of my ass. And, Ryan Murphy has used me over and over and over. Not really big parts, but boy, he'll stick me in when he needs that kind of comedic relief, but still serious. Loves to murder me. Oh, I can't tell you how much Ryan has murdered me. But that's when I figured out, that's because I'm the funny guy that comes in with the zinger. like on Will and Grace. That's my job. I've done it. I won an Emmy doing it.
You
See
did.
how I got that in there. I do it. But I'm really privileged to have someone like Ryan Murphy. My friend Del Shores writes things for me. Every once in a while, somebody will think outside the box. And there's one out there. I want to be like Mickey Rooney playing that mentally challenged guy, or something in his late 70s. Something's going to come along where people are going to go, oh my word, him?
Yep.
Because I've got it in me.
Have you ever grown a beard or a mustache ever?
Oh yeah, in high school. Big old mustache. That'd be fun.
It would. It matched that blue.
As we say in the South, mustache.
Inside of You is brought to you by Geico. I'll tell you what, Ryan, whether you rent your home, I own my home.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, it's hard enough to pay your rent. It's hard enough to pay for your mortgage. And the last thing you want to do is pay 3 different people for your auto policy, your homeowners, renters. So Geico makes it easy. They have a bundling policy, man. Geico's a name that you know and you trust, and they make it easy for you. It's Geico easy, folks. All you have to do is this. You go to geico.com, you get a quote, and you see how much you could save. It's pretty easy. They bundle your homeowners, renters insurance along with your auto policy, like I said. And I don't know about you, but I don't really like to leave my house, or I don't like to leave as much as possible. So it just makes it a lot easier. Just go to geico.com. It's Geico easy. Even a Rosenbaum can do it. Inside of You is brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp Online Therapy. They've been a sponsor for quite a long time. I think it's because it's working. I think as people start to believe that therapy works. And I think that's why it's working. That's why they've been a sponsor for a while, because I think, even Ryan here got with BetterHelp. And how you doing?
Doing all right so far.
You kind of dig it, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to talk to someone other than your girlfriend or your best friend, that they could be, someone who could be objective, who's a professional.
It is nice to have an objective third party to talk to.
That's great. Say, look, as we begin to see the light at the end of the COVID tunnel, a lot of people are still feeling down and emotionally out of sorts. You may not feel depressed or at a total loss, but if you're feeling a little bit off or your relationships are suffering, it could be a sign you should talk to somebody. Online therapy can help. BetterHelp is pretty simple. If you want to get help, all you do is fill out a questionnaire to help BetterHelp assess your needs and match you with a professional licensed therapist. So many people have asked me, does this stuff really work? The answer is yes. It's just, I don't even hesitate. It's something I've been doing for a long time. Being able to talk to someone, you start out your day better. I like to do it in the morning. Some people like to do it at night, at the end of a stressful day. I particularly like the morning. So it's kind of like you're tired, you're fatigued, you're already stressed, you're already upset about something, and you get everything out of your system and you start your day. But to each his own. Once you fill out the questionnaire, you start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Schedule secure weekly video, phone, or even live chat appointments.
Therapists have a broad range of expertise that may not be locally available in your area.
Log into your account anytime to send a message to your therapist.
BetterHelp is committed to great matches, so it's easy and free to change therapists if needed.
Yeah, and it's more convenient, it's more affordable than in-person therapy, and financial aid is available. And let me tell you something, I've done in-person, and those are astronomically high. They charge you an arm, a leg, and a couple other things. And BetterHelp is certainly fair. The price is, to me, astonishing how low it is. Our listeners today get 10% off their first month to BetterHelp.com/inside. That's BetterHelp.com/inside for 10% off their first month. You should have had a mustache when you sang at the Grand Ole Opry in that blue suit. That would have been sweet.
Can you believe that just came out of the sky?
That was just unbelievable.
I was asked, it started out here in LA. I was asked to do the cover of a magazine called Alpha that's fairly new. And so there was this wonderful Crystal, wonderful stylist that started just putting things on me, put that blue suit on, but it didn't have any of the accoutrement. It had none of that. It was just a blue suit. She told me it was from Gucci. And so I believed her. And then later on, I was telling everybody in Nashville, this is a Gucci. She said, I was kidding. This is not a Gucci.
It's a Wrangler.
This is the cheapest suit. But anyway, so she, during the middle of that, I was asked to sing at the Grand Ole Opry because I'd been doing Sunday hymn singing with my friend Travis Howard.
Yeah.
And Mike Lotus produced it for us, and Danny Myrick. And it got to be really big. We just sang these old Southern hymns in the studio every Sunday. So we threw together an album called Company's Coming, which got released. And we made a list of everybody we want to sing with, from Eddie Vedder to Dolly Parton. They all said yes. So here we went. So I've got an album out right now called Company's Coming. I've got a duet with Eddie Vedder's going to win a Grammy.
Wait. What? Whoa. You have a duet with Eddie Vedder, and are you singing a hymn?
We're singing an old hymn. It's not a hymn. It was written in the format of a hymn. It was written for Eddie. It's called He Who Hideth Me. And it's about this sort of universe. You can call it God. You can call it whatever. But whatever it is, she, whatever, will hideth me, will take care of me. It's the most beautiful song you have ever. You can hear it right now. We released it last week.
All right, guys, listen, you got to listen to this. How do you not want to hear Leslie Jordan with Eddie Vedder? You have to get this immediately. I know I am right after this.
Leslie Jordan with Dolly Parton.
I mean, how are you not starstruck when you meet Dolly Parton?
Well, you're beyond starstruck, because the first thing you think that she might be a little bit of a joke or something. She's as smart as a whip. She's as smart as a whip, and she looks right at you and talks to you, and she's everything you think she would be. That little tiny waist and that bud. She's got this little bud, this little Dolly Parton bud. She's 75 years old and looks like $1 million. And she has been Dolly since the 50s. You know, all these girls have changed their hairdos and their hairstyles, and put the skirts up, the skirts down, the this, that. Not Dolly. She found her look, and she's been with it, and she's so smart and so good. You know, they're just people that are just good.
She still, to this day, at 75 years old, still can sing.
I told her, I said, Dolly, I went and saw you in 1973. She said, you did not. You made that up. I said, no, I did. I said, I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You were up in Sevierville, Tennessee. You sang at the high school auditorium. She said, that was the year Jolene came out, and I did sing at the high school auditorium, but you weren't there. You made that up. And I said, okay, I'm going to give you opening line. Hey, everybody, I'm Dolly Parton. What's a country girl without her haystack? Because you had your hair up. She said, you were there. You were there.
But what's it like when you're singing with her?
Well, you don't get to sing anymore with people because of COVID. I don't know if it's the future of the recording industry, but you lay your track down.
Right.
The closest I got was to Tanya on one of my songs. I got Tanya Tucker. We were in the studio, but we were separated by glass. I didn't get anywhere near Eddie. He was in Hawaii and laid his down there. I didn't get anywhere near Brandy Carlisle or.
Well, hang on a second. Do you lay your vocals down first and then they go in, or was it vice versa?
The reason that we do that, I think, is so that they can, because they're the better singer, I think, really, they can do more with harmony and this and that. And then, but there's a lot of going back and forth. Like I'll go back in. Dolly talked the whole time. Well, isn't this sweet? Don't you love this, Leslie? And I had to go back in and answer her. She talked and then she dove Canaan's land. I'm on my way. And then she talked. Lacey, this is so much fun. These hymns make me feel good. And blah, blah, blah. Her whole family sang on my song, on my album. My album's going to win a Grammy.
And wait a minute. And so she'll talk, then you'll go back in the studio and you have to write something that sounds kind of conversational.
Well, I have to just answer whatever she said, or it's amazing what those engineers can do, man.
Wow.
They can find that one. There's a lot of auto-tune going on. Dolly even said to me at one time, Dolly said, now listen, when my family and I were doing this, there's one where I did my own harmony. So when we do this live, we will have to get someone from the backup to do. I said, when we do this live, it had never crossed my mind that I might stand on a stage with Dolly.
Well, you might be going to the Grand Ole Opry and sometime again and singing with her.
I just said, oh my God, Dolly. And so we'll see. We'll see. See, I'm not a good singer. I'm a hymn singer. I'm just a hymn singer. I grew up singing hymns, and there's a way in which, like my mother said, Leslie, just sing out for the Lord. That's all you care about. You're just singing for the Lord.
So you didn't care. You just went back and just let it out. Can you give me a little bit of "I'm working on a building for my Lord" that you're singing from the Grand Ole Opry?
I'm working on a building. If I was a liar, I tell you what I'd do. I'd just keep on lying and start working on a building. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building for my Lord. For my Lord.
Yes.
It's a Holy Ghost building. It's Holy Ghost building.
And you were moving out there.
For my Lord. Oh, my Lord.
I love it. And Osborne, one of the Osborne brothers, he looked at you and goes, "You're stealing the show." That's what he said to you. By the way, on your Instagram, I thought it was hilarious. You were talking about Dolly. Speaking to Dolly Parton, you're talking about Dolly Parton, your goat. The goat story.
We had a goat named Dolly that had those great big milk sacks. That was the sweetest little goat. I don't want to tell you how it ended. The coyotes got her. But anyway, it did not end well. This was out in Fresno, California. She'd wander down the shed row with her little milk sacks swinging. She was cute as her thing, bleating. And she kept the horses calm. A lot of horse stables will have goats and pygmy goats around. They just kind of calm the horses. But she figured out it's you have no idea how hot it is. We were actually in a little town called Madera, how hot it is. She figured out if she went into the bathroom and flushed the toilet, the warm water rolled out and cold water, she got her a cold drink. So the guys were delivering the hay, and here she came, just sauntering down. Here comes gossip. There's old Dolly Parton. Well, she went in the bathroom. You heard a few minutes, you heard it flush, and she came out. And I thought she had gone to the bathroom. The guys delivering the hay. One of them looked over me and said, "No way." I go,
Dolly's with it. Oh, my God. Do you love all the attention that you get on Instagram? Do you just really, I mean, are you surprised still when you see 100,000, 200,000 views and likes? And do you feel like this is an audience that you have to keep going back on stage and give them love and joy?
I do. I feel also, I like the fact that I would say out of my almost 6 million followers, over half of them had never seen me on television. Because for all these 40 years I've been working in TV, and so people knew me as my roles. You know what I mean? And on like Will and Grace, I'm kind of snarky and this and that. So that means that all these other people that I've talked to, because I said, "Did you know me on TV?" "No, I discovered you here on the internet. I've discovered me, just me, and I love that they keep coming back just to hear me. And it's what a wonderful thing it is, Instagram, keeping everybody. I'm sure with kids, it's like you have kids that never look up ever. You don't even know what they look like, your kid. But anyway, what a wonderful way to reach out to one another and to, there's the bad side of it, but the good side to, keep in touch and this and that. And I just love the fact that so many people, I couldn't believe it when I had 20,000. I said, 20,000 people want to hear what I have to say. And then here they came, just millions. Who are these people?
Have you ever thought of having your own talk show?
I have, but you know what? I'm better. I like acting, and I'm afraid that goes away. See, once you get that talk show, they never get, and I really, really enjoy acting. Like on this little sitcom I've got, I just wait. It's the best job I ever had. Call me Kat. And Mayim Bialik is our executive producer. She's an actress on it as well,
yeah,
which doubles the fun because she knows what actors need to work. And here we are over an empty, Warner Brothers, by the way, right now is empty. You drive, it's so sad to drive onto an empty, not soundstage, an empty lot. There's nobody there. And then you park in your little given spot and you walk into an empty soundstage. The makeup people have shields.
Oy. And
they have to wear white jumpers, and they make you up, and then they put you back in your shield and everything, and you're put back in your room. We just sit in that dressing room forever. And then the cameras get ready, and there's nobody there, and we make comedy with no laughter. Because, see, there's nobody. Our kind of show should have been multicam and should be shooting in front of an audience. and it'll be years, I think. I really do think it will be years before, but an audience. And so there's no audience. And I tell the cameraman all the time, laugh. And all you ever hear is the one writer over there that wrote that joke.
It's always that one guy. It's always it must be his episode. That's his episode.
That's his joke. And you say, it's not that funny. I wouldn't even that funny.
Is it hard for you?
They said to me one time, and then they add the laughter. I said to them, they said, you're taking a beat here you don't need. Just go right here, because here's the laugh. And I said, no, I feel this is the laugh. They go, the laugh is where we put it. And we're going to put it there.
Oh, my God. Hey, how y'all doing is the book that's out now, right?
Yeah.
Is that, look at that. Leslie Jordan, how y'all doing? What does it say?
It's tiny, by the way. I don't know. When you first get it, you'll notice. It's a tiny little book.
It's an easy read, right? Easy read.
It's a very easy read.
And what do you get into?
Essays.
What do you talk about?
Well, I start out about the Instagram and how I wasn't used to that and how that enhanced my comedy, and that I learned to go on the Instagram and get a story that I thought would take forever on stage down to a minute, and how I was able to find a beginning, a middle, and end, and it enhanced it, and how my comedy began to work so well under that. And then I just had 11. I was very lucky. See, they came to me. Elkeck, Ellekeck, Miss L. Keck, one of the big editors at who is my not William Morris. My publishers are
Merriam-Webster? No, I don't know.
No, the other ones.
Ryan, do you know
Harper
one?
Collins.
Oh,
my publishers at Harper Collins.
Big one.
Came to me, set up a phone interview, and they said, we see a book. We see it coming from your delightful Instagram posts, and we see a name. We want to call it How Y'all Doing. They came to me with a book, a name, and a big sack of money.
Really?
Big old sack of money. I said, my gosh, that much? And then they said, start writing. And we like this story. It was already beautifully organized. I called them in about a month and I said, well, I got something for you. And they go, what, you got a chapter for us to read? I said, no, I got the book. I wrote the whole.
How many pages is this book?
My book, after all these acknowledgments, is 195 pages.
You guys could read that quickly. Look at that. And I bet it's a bundle of laughs in there.
They laid it out. I kind of like the way they laid it out. They laid it out, even though I would have a story, they would take the story and make it into several little stories that got little, well, anyway, they got little pictures of like this, there would be part of the story. And then
I like pictures. That's how I read. I need pictures.
Shoot.
I need pictures.
There'd be a little piece of like glasses.
Oh, look at that. Leslie's glasses in there. They'd break it out.
Yeah, and then another story would continue within the story. So it is an easy read.
Didn't your mom, what's the first lines that your mom got upset with and said, that's vulgar? Was that book?
Yes, well, shit was the first line in it. She said, you weren't raised that way, son. Why would you? And I said, I was just being silly, Mom. I just said, well, shit, how y'all doing? It's not that bad of a word. She said, well, you weren't raised, to talk like that. And I said, bought you a condo.
Inside of You is brought to you by Got Pet Products. The family behind Charlie Bear is also behind a human ingredient company that has been bringing expertise, creative imagination, and a passion for food to people for more than a century. Their dog treats, their Hound and Gatos, it's certainly phenomenal. As you can see, my little Blanche eating it, has it every day. And I always feel like if you're going to give yourself a quality meal, give your animal a quality meal. Charlie Bear treats are just wonderful. I just sent some to Jennifer Love Hewitt. She just loved them. Yeah. Name drop. Do you see that? I name dropped. Charlie Bear treats are natural dog treats from our family to your best friend. They're made in the USA. Simple, natural ingredients, low calorie. I think they have like 3 calories or less in each one. Pocket friendly, so they're not going to crumble and make a mess in your pocket, which I love that because I have so much crap at the bottom of my shorts and jeans, their pockets. Wallet friendly. You get high value rewards. And most importantly, your dog's going to love them. And that is a guarantee from me. Look for Charlie Bear products at your favorite neighborhood pet stores and online. Visit our store. Our website is www.charliebear.com. That's Charlie, CHARLEE, bear.com for more information. And you can also go to www.houndgatos.com, hound, HOUNDGATOS, and you're going to get the wonderful food that Blanche eats as well. So check it out. A little shout out to my brother Adam, who works for Got Pet Products, and all the boys there and all the girls, and just saying thank you for making my little Blanchie so happy. Inside of You is brought to you by Untuck It. Guys, summer is here. Summer's here. There's never been a better time than to try on a shirt from Untuck It. They have performance shirts that wick sweat. That's right. Look how great this shirt looks on me. These shirts are designed for guys that like to have them untucked, so they're not down to your knees like they're a dress. They look good. You feel confident. Go to the beach. You go to a barbecue. You go on a date. Untuck it. The short sleeve button downs and polos are made to beat the heat. Untuck It shirts are perfect as we transition back to the things we've been missing, like dinners with friends, reuniting with families, and vacations. And here's what you do. You use the code INSIDE for 20% off your first purchase at untuckit.com. Use the code INSIDE. Untuck It makes shirts designed to be worn untucked. They have fits for all shapes and sizes.
And you know what?
What's that, Ryan?
Untuck It offers up to size triple XL. Plus, they have slim, relaxed, and tall fits.
Untuck It, Ryan, has 85 stores nationwide.
And free returns and exchanges.
Just go to untuckit.com and type in INSIDE for 20% off your first purchase. You said you were baptized 14 times. Were you just being funny?
Yeah, I made a lot of that up. I was baptized a lot over the years. We would go, there would be a church camp and they would give I think, I'd like to get baptized in the lake. We'd have it out there. But I didn't get baptized 14 times. But every time that the preacher would say, "Would the lost sinner please come forward?" I would think to myself, I've been having bad thoughts about those boys and thinking about boys. I'd go forward. And I had that secret, that I couldn't tell anybody. And I was a good kid, and I was a good little Christian boy who just kept going forward. But it shows how kids today, and I work with so many LGBTQ, LMNOP, wherever it ends today, kids, and I work with them and how they learn to hate themselves in the pew of a church, no matter what religion it was, Catholic or, even Buddhist and Muslims, they just learned that hate. And my hero right now is Brandy Carlisle, the singer, because she calls herself, she says, "I'm a gay woman of faith." And she said, when you're a gay woman of faith, you have had to work so hard to hold on to that faith, to find out what that faith is about, because you've been told this and you've been read this. You have to, with you and your God, you have to. Anyway, she speaks it so eloquently. I can't. But
you're doing a good job.
We have to, if we're going to be gay people of faith, which I like that. I'm comfortable with that. For a long time, I went back to Alcoholics Anonymous, and I would go to the meetings and garner comfort because I was just used to meetings. But those aren't even like now. I need more than even that, than an AA meeting. I need to check in. But yeah, it's tough because we've been raised and taught and nobody would listen.
Well, it's tough enough, as a kid, just growing up and being in high school, and there's these cliques, and you don't fit in. And I was I was short. I didn't have a lot of friends. I wasn't popular. But then you're in the small town. You're in Chattanooga, and you're Christian, and in the Bible, it's telling you that, oh, well, these are sinners, and you're thinking, that's me, but I don't know. I'm having these thoughts, but I can't control myself. I mean, that's got to be, just the utmost and horrible experiences as a kid. And you couldn't talk to anybody, right?
I talked to my mom when I was 12. I told my mom and she listened, and I thought for sure she'd pull out her Bible. We didn't even have a name. I didn't know gay. I'm queer. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what I was trying to tell her. She understood, with the light she had to see with. And she took a very deep breath and she said, Leslie, if this is the path you choose, which now, I didn't choose. I fell out of the womb and landed in, her high heels. There was no choice anywhere. Never once did I sit down and make a choice.
Right.
Why would someone choose to be something that society's going to make fun of you about? She said, if you choose this, then if I was you, I would live a quiet life, because if not, I'm afraid that you would be subject to ridicule. And I could not bear that. I couldn't bear it.
Wow.
And I thought, oh, that's so sweet. And so I just led a quiet life, as you can see.
So you totally listened to her.
I took her lesson. Now 50 yards of purple chiffon come flying out of my mouth. I'm leading a quiet life.
Oh, my God. Hey, you ever get starstruck? Who makes you starstruck? Who's the one person that you really just go, holy shit?
Jessica did, because Jessica Lange was a star. And she kept, tours. Usually you've met so many. I worked with Dustin Hoffman many, many years ago on the movie. I was so struck with him. And he just adored me. He kept coming over, whispering things to me and getting me in trouble. And he was at odds with the director on the picture. He knew the picture took place in Chicago. He goes, you got a pretty good Southern accent. You ought to lay it on thick. And I said, okay, I will. So the director would come over and say, why are you laying your Southern? This is Chicago. And I said, Dustin told me, he goes, no, don't. And so then Dustin would come over and say, what'd he say to you? I said, well, he told me not to. He goes, do it thicker. Do it thick as you can. I'll take care of you, I promise. So I got all kinds of. So I was starstruck with Dustin Hoffman.
Were you always a prankster? Were you in high school? You a class clown? Were they always like, because I was that guy that like Rosenbaum, go do that, go say that, get in trouble. Were you that guy who would do anything for a laugh?
No, I had my own ways of getting laugh. If I was trying to get the laugh and it looked like I was trying to get the laugh, I wasn't comfortable. I was able to just kind of get the laugh. I tell you, one time George Clooney was such a prankster. I worked with him and he went to the wardrobe department. He said, does he wear the same suit every day? We did a series called Bodies of Evidence long before he did even ER.
Wow.
He wasn't even well known. But I had such a crush on him because he was so handsome. And so, George. And so he said, he told him in the wardrobe department, take his pants out 1 inch every day. Pull out 1 inch. So I was on a diet, and I'd been on this diet, and I'd been telling everybody about it. And so I'd say, remember that diet I told you about? I didn't lose any pounds. I weighed myself as one but little. Well, by the third day, they were just hanging on. I had to get this deal back. I thought I had discovered this miracle diet. I was telling everybody, I said, y'all, it's a miracle. It just sheds away.
You really were buying into it, thinking you're losing all this weight, and George Clooney was just fucking with you?
Laughing every day at me.
Hey, this is called Shit Talking with Leslie Jordan. These are my patrons who I love, and they have some questions. This is from Leanne P. As things are starting to open up after the quarantine, what are you looking forward to doing the most?
Eating out. I love to eat out at restaurants. And I eat out by myself. Some people say, I can never do that. I do it all the time. I don't even think twice.
As long as it's before 6 p.m. You don't,
I'm looking forward to getting back out to eating out at restaurants.
Kelly S., I love your Sunday morning hymn session with Travis Howard. How did you get your passion to perform those gospel songs? You sound wonderful.
Well, because I started singing them from the time I was 2 or 3. Seriously, 2 or 3 years old, we would sing those old hymns. And in the Baptist church, sometimes if there's not enough hymnals to go around, the preacher will say the words kind of quiet, this little lamb, so this little lamb. And so I knew the words. And when I found an old Baptist hymnal, and when I opened it up to show Travis, we just about screamed because we knew every single word. It was the fabric of our childhood. It was everything we had ever heard growing up, And not that we believed it or didn't believe it, it didn't matter. It was just the words, and the tunes. And I don't care if you're, Jewish or Muslim or Buddhist or Christian or how you were raised. This music is wonderful. So I'm hoping people will just take it for what it is. We're not proselytizing by any means.
Little Lisa says, Leslie, could you please tell us about one of your favorite behind the scenes moments on Will and Grace? Something that no one's heard, maybe.
Well, this is going to kind of tell on myself, but before I started on Will and Grace, people came up to me and said, that Megan Mullally is brilliant. Leslie, you may have met your match. She may be funny, but honey, she's no Leslie. So, we went to rehearsal and she didn't do that deep, that voice during rehearsal much, and she's like me. She loves business. If she's going to pick up a drink and talk, she's going to do it, and she's going to have it. And she says that word. That's how she memorizes, I think. She's like me. She likes her business. She's also not one to like a lot of preparation. She won't, I'll say, do you want to run lines? No. So, but anyway, we walked up, in front of an audience, and I said my line, well, and just, the house just hollered. And all of a sudden I turned around and I looked at her, and a comedic tsunami, it was a tsunami, hit me with whatever her next line was. And that place went ballistic. And she looked at me like, okay. And I looked at her like, okay. And it was like, it's on. And, we're not good friends, really. We don't hang out with each other. But when we are so competitive on stage, and she wins because of those titties. She always like, if I get the last line and get the big lick, all she's got to do is she'll look at me and go.
And that's it.
And that's it. And I say, bitch.
Do you think she liked you? Did you like each other, or not really?
Oh yeah,
you did.
No, we adore one another.
You still talk to each other.
It's more than just a mutual admiration of. We're both Southern. She's from Oklahoma City. I knew her mother Martha, who died recently, and so it's that. It's that, and then also I adore her. Her husband's so adorable because he's 9 feet, and she's my height. Like, oh my God, his name slips my mind.
Oh yeah,
Megan Mullally.
Yeah, who's Megan Mullally married to? What's his name from?
Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman.
Nick.
Yeah, I forget. He's a funny guy. Funny
Teddy
guy.
Bear Nick.
This person just says, Steph A says, Leslie, I just want you to know how much you mean to me. You're such a genuine and loving person. You've helped me feel more secure in myself and in my life. From Will and Grace to now, you've kept me laughing and learning both. Lots of love to you.
Isn't that sweet?
Isn't that the nicest thing?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's infectious.
I'm so glad I quit snorting crystal meth.
How did? What's it? By the way, what's it like snorting?
I thought that old creeper could make something.
How does someone get into crystal meth? I mean,
Here's how it happened. It was a sad situation, but it happened in the gay bars and it happened in the 80s, and it was called Tina. And it was you would do a little dance, a little bump on the dance floor, and it was better than cocaine because it lasted so long. But what happened is you do a big old rail of that Tina, you're up 6 hours. And I mean, you're up 10 hours.
So it's like speed. It's like speed.
Speed. And so everybody on the dance floor at the after hours clubs, that's the only way, you can step to. And what an awful feeling to walk out of Probe on Highland on a Sunday morning and see people dressed for church, happy with their children.
Oh my God.
And you're like, yeah.
I mean, get out of my way. What were the downs though? The ups are so great, but the downs are absolutely the worst.
Horrendous. And you lost people. I mean, people committed suicide. It was like, they just didn't think that it's not like a hangover. It's just like you think it's the end of the world. It's just, you can't, and you're very, very, very paranoid. That's where, when you see aluminum foil on windows in some weird house painted black, with security around you, tweaker. You're just, And it took a really long time to get my thinking back. I liked it because one burp and everything goes slow. Everybody else, because I'm so hyper anyway, it just had a chemical reaction on me where it just slowed me down. And I remember thinking, I said to the guy who gave it to me, Jimmy, I said, can you get me a little tiny bit of this every day for like the rest of my life?
Right.
And I'll just do a little bit, and then life will be wonderful.
Well, that's what, Well, that's what ADD medication is. The people who are like, I'm a hyperactive, and if I take something like a Vyvanse or whatever, it slows me down and I'm able to focus more. So
yeah,
it's the same thing.
And you begin to think, oh, so this is normal. This is, oh my God, so this is the way everybody else is, and I've been up here all these years.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard being up there. It's hard being just always like this because it's calming down. It's just really hard to calm down, and then you get really depressed when you go home alone and you start to think about, oh my God, what did I do? What did I say? Why do I always have to be funny? Why do I always have to be the center of attention? Why can't I just be normal? What the hell's wrong with me? You would start feeling like that. You are
preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
You are preaching to the choir.
But you're through it now. Now you're good.
I'm through 22 years clean, completely sober, and, happier than I've ever been. And it was a journey that I look back sometimes and I think to myself, I don't know who that was. I don't know who that was. They stayed up for 6 days and then went to an audition. And the casting director's now dead. The casting director called me in. He was a gay man, thank God. He said, why don't you go home and get some sleep? I said, no, I really want to audition. He goes, you really don't want to audition.
Wow.
You've been up a long time. I had been up 6 days and I was going to try to audition for this. I even remember the part. It was
Return of the Living Dead. Maybe you would have gotten that one.
It was hilarious. They wanted an Irish accent, which I couldn't do. And it was going to be, there was, what's Tatum O'Neal's dad's name? Tatum O'Neal.
What's his name from Love?
With Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah, what's his name?
Farrah Fawcett and something O'Neal.
Ryan O'Neal.
I was going into the room to audition with Ryan O'Neal. He'll know. Ow.
So, well, good for him. At least he didn't tell your agents or anything, did he?
No.
That was good. Well, you know what? This has been really lovely. This has been really nice. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah, was this all right for you? Did you have fun?
I did.
Thank you for allowing me to be inside of you today, and I really enjoyed this conversation. I'll talk to you soon.
I do, and you're wonderful at what you do.
You're wonderful. Well, definitely interesting.
He's an infectious personality, I would say.
Yes, I would say that too. I think that it's just a combination of the personality with the accent. He just jumps into things like that, and anything he talks about just seems like it's funny. Like if I just jumped in and I talked about those things, no one would think it was that funny.
No, he's got a.
He can make anything funny.
He can.
He fell right out of his mama's womb into her high heels, into a pair of high heels.
So funny. Brilliant.
So thank you, Leslie Jordan, for being on the podcast. You were a fun guest. And just a reminder, if you want to subscribe to the podcast, you could do that very easily on YouTube or on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple. Please write a review if you like it. It certainly helps the podcast out. Send it to your friends. And you could subscribe. Also, the handles are on Instagram and Facebook. They're what, Ryan?
Oh, at Inside of You Podcast on Facebook, and then the
Twitter.
The Twitter's at Inside of You Pod.
That's correct. So write a review. Join us. Join the family. Also, if you want to join Patreon, that's a wonderful thing to help the podcast in other ways. I will send you a message. It's a great thing, the Patreon. If you have no idea what Patreon is, I'll just explain it to you in a few sentences. Top tiers on the Patreon get packages from me every few months. They get to ask me questions on a segment I have, random spur of the moment YouTube lives with me playing guitar, discounts on the Inside of You online store. You know, it's a lot of fun. And so many people have become such good friends through Patreon. And it makes me really happy. So all you have to do is go to patreon.com/insideofyou and become a member today. And I'll write you a message. Also, the Inside of You store. Why don't we just go with Back Surgery 10 for 10% off anything on the Inside of You store? We've got Smallville lunchboxes, Lex Luthor pictures, journals signed by me, Funko Pops, mugs, shirts, the list goes on. Also, my band, sunspin.com. You go to sunspin.com and you get all the crazy merch there. You could also get book Zooms with me and Rob, 10-minute Zooms. It'd be fun. Maybe Ryan will be on with those Zooms sometime. I don't know. I can't tell you what Ryan's going to do.
I don't know what Ryan's going to do.
Yeah, you don't even know what Ryan's going to do.
Mm-mm.
Also, just if you're writing this down, I'm going to be at Comic Palooza. Just go to comicpalooza.com in Houston. Get tickets to see me on July 17th and 18th. It's going to be a lot of fun. So July 17th and 18th, just go to comicpalooza.com. And also coming down the road in September, I'll be at Dragon Con September 4th. Tom Welling and I will be together. Lexington Comic Con September 9th. Welling and I will also be together. And then West Virginia MountaineerComicCon.com. You can go to. It's Mountaineer Comic Con September 24th weekend. I'm getting going, Ryan. I'm getting going on these
Seriously,
on the conventions. It's been
that's back in high gear.
Yeah, like a year and a half since I've been doing it, and certainly I miss it. Certainly the fans miss it. So I'm curious to see what it's going to be like. If it's going to be just a shit show, like, you know, in a good way. Like, hopefully there'll be a lot of people out there just, you know, protecting themselves, and, you know, they're hopefully vaccinated, and you know, to protect people around them and themselves. Nonetheless, I'm excited to see people and engage in people. I wonder if my anxiety levels will go up.
Probably a little.
What do? You just
I mean, have you been on a plane since the pandemic started?
Yeah, once I went and saw my grandparents.
Oh, that's right.
My grandmother. Sorry, my grandpa's dead. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah. He just looked at me. Didn't even think it was funny. Segue. And by the way, there's been a lot of stuff of press about the Smallville animated series, and it just kind of went wild. And it's because my buddy Tom Welling said something. Well, just I don't think it's a big secret, but we're working on something, and I think it's special, and hopefully we'll be able to make it. And we've got some special people involved, and that's all I could say. And we'll leave it at that until I have more news. But I'll let you know that I'm doing everything I can to make things come to fruition, and these things take a lot of time. So be patient, and hopefully be there when I need you for support. Why don't we do the patrons shout outs? These are the patrons who give a little bit extra, a lot extra, and they deserve a shout out at the end of each show. So why don't I do that, Ryan?
Why don't you? Why don't you take a sip of your
Here we
coffee
go.
and then do it?
Nancy D, Mary B, Leah S, Trisha F, Sarah V, Little Lisa, Yukiko, Jill E, Brian H, Lauren G, Nico P, Robin S, Jerry W, Robert B, Jason W, Apathian, Kristen K, Amelia O, Allison L, Lucas M, Raj C, Joshua D, Emily S, CJP, Samantha M, Jennifer N, Stacy L, Carly H, Carly S, Jen S, Jamal F, Janelle B, Tabitha 272, not to be confused with
Tabitha 273.
We can't miss that ever. I try to just keep reading, but I can't. I can't stop. Kimberly E, Mike E, Eldon Supremo, 99 more, Ramiro, Santiago M, Sarah F, Chad W, Leanne P, Ray A, Maya P, Maddie S, Kendrick F, Ashley E, Shannon D, Matt W, Belinda N, Kevin V, James R, Chris H, Dave H, Samantha S, Spider-Man Chase, Sheila G, Brad. That's it. I just randomly said Brad.
Yeah, it's Brad. Brad. Yeah, Brad.
Brad D.
Brad. Yeah.
Ray H, Tabitha T, Tom N, Suzanne B, Liliana A, Michelle K, Marcuz. I love you. Marcuz W, Hannah B, Michael S. We got Talia M, Andrew T, Betsy. We've got Betsy D. We've got Clara M, Betsy D. See how I said that? I read it as an O for some reason because it looks like an O because I can't see very well with my contacts. Last time she let me know, she said, it's not Betsy O. I go, I know it's not. It's Betsy D'Onofrio. See, did I say that right? Because now I'm thinking Vincent D'Onofrio. Betsy D'Onofrio. Whatever.
Betsy didn't offer you anything.
She's going to kill me. Who else we got? Claire M, Liz J, Laura L, Chad L, Rochelle, Nathan E, Taylor K, Marion, and here's the end of the list, but not the worst part of the list. The faves. No. Okay. Meg K, Janelle P, Trav L, Dan N, Diane R, Ojeda. That wasn't how you spelled it. Said it. What was it?
Ajeta.
Ajeta?
It's Ajeta.
Ajeta. Lorraine G, Veronica K, Big Stevie W, Kendall T, Carol D, Sandy B, Angel M, Eric C, Rhiannon C, Stephen M, Corey K, Super Sam, Emily C, Sherry S, Coleman G, David C, Michelle A, Riley J, Matt W, Liz L, Jeremy C, Andy T, Cody R, Chris E, Sebastian K, Gavinator, Ann H, Elliot M, John B, and Brandy D. That is That is all of the amazing patrons. Again, if you want to join Patreon, patreon.com/inside of you. Join the family today. So many people become such close friends on it, and I love it. And I had no idea that Patreon would blow up like this, but a lot of these people I call friends. They're just amazing people. And, you know, you think sometimes people say, well, how do you differentiate between fans and friends? Well, that's easy. You have to keep them separate. But at the same time, you meet some people who are just incredibly respectful, and they're not trying to get into your life. They're just become sort of part of your life in a way. They're just really good people. People say, do you ever get weirdos? I mean, occasionally you do. And then you have to kind of say, hey, I'm uncomfortable. But that rarely happens. People are so respectful. And that really is, that's just a cool thing when you don't feel uncomfortable at all. I don't feel uncomfortable with any patron. They just, for the most part, 99% of them, just fucking good people. Giving, loving, sweet, affectionate, good folk.
Giving, loving.
Thank you so much for listening today. This has been a real treat. Hopefully you enjoyed Leslie Jordan. Hopefully you'll stick around for next week's episode. Most of the people are sticking around right now and listening are people that love me and I love back anyway. So from Ryan Tejas here in the Hollywood Hills.
From Michael Rosenbaum over there.
Yeah, we're going to look up there and we'll give a wave to the camera. Thank you so much for allowing to be inside of each and every one of you. I love being here. I love doing the show, and I hope you love listening. And until next time, keep your pants on.